Greetings and welcome, my friends. You have come over to the Synthesizer Side, the home of our Robot Overlords. This is the perfect storm too, the synthesizer deck featuring hasty Robot Overlords, much like the original. But this time we've got some help from the latest Dragon set, and we're using a card to help us find our Robot Overlord generating factories. We've got a bit of removal as well to help keep early men under control, and some cards to help us draw into our synthesizers. We've gone to the cheaper side as well. The deck tops out at 3 mana. The Enigma Jewel is a card we're using that gives us 2 colorless mana to use towards paying the activation cost for any artifacts we have. And in this deck we have 3 artifacts that need mana to use their abilities. 3 steps ahead is a key piece of the puzzle. We're using it to make an instant copy of any artifact we have in play, with the synthesizer being the most important card we want to copy. The 3 steps ahead also gives us the ability to counter any play the opponent makes, as well as being able to use it to draw a pair of cards, then tossing one. Chainsaw is an artifact removal that we'll use to snipe enemy men with toughness 3 or less. Taking something out with it will give the chainsaw a rev counter, which will boost the power of the equipped creature. Every time something on board dies, whether it's ours or theirs, the chainsaw will rev up. This is the first of our 2 mana artifacts that we'll be able to sacrifice to the Repurposing Bay. Collector's Vault is a looting artifact that does require an activation cost of 2 mana, which can be paid fully with the Enigma Jewel. With every activation we also get treasure tokens to help us double spell, or we can leave on board to help boost the stats of our Robot Overlords. Being 2 mana, it's also a great sacrifice for the Repurposing Bay. Treasure Map is another 2 mana artifact that helps us by giving us a scry 1 for only 1 mana. It can help us find cards we need, then once we've used it 3 times it will turn into a land and give us 3 treasures. We can use the land for a colorless mana, or we can tap it and sacrifice a treasure to draw a card. Repurposing Bay is a 3 mana artifact that has a 2 mana activation cost, and we can sacrifice an artifact to get another artifact right out of our deck and into play. It's a great way to sacrifice our 2 mana artifacts and get our synthesizers. Plus, as long as we have artifacts to sacrifice, we can keep fetching out more artifacts to strengthen our board. The synthesizer is the mighty Robot Overlord factory. Every time we get an artifact that's 3 mana or more, will generate a beefy AI that is hungry to stomp the life out of the opponent. Note that we don't have to cast them to get the Robot Overlords. All they have to do is enter play on our side, so getting additional 3 mana artifacts with the Repurposing Bay will generate our AI men. The Helm is an excellent sidekick to the synthesizer, as it will generate a map token every time we generate 1 or more artifact tokens. For 2 mana, we can use it to make an instant copy of any artifact tokens we have in play. This simple artifact can easily let our Robot Overlords grow out of control with the piles of map tokens it will generate. Frostcliff Siege is a new enchantment that gives us a choice between being able to draw cards when we hit the opponent with combat damages, or we can give our men a small power boost as well as trample and haste. In the majority of games, we'll want to get the trample and haste option, as that will let our Robot Overlords attack in the turn they are created. This is a powerful effect that can leave the opponent reeling from the savage hits of our AI men. Let's get in there. Thran Spider is an artifact that enters play and gives us an additional artifact that we can tap for mana to help power out more artifacts. It does have an activated ability that costs 7 mana that can help us find a card we need. It's a great way to dig up more synthesizers, and the Enigma Jewel can help pay the cost. For lands, we're playing 2 Mirrex, the land that we can use to generate artifact men. 2 Fomori Vault, the land we can use to loot away cards we don't need. For Fabled Passage, the land we can sacrifice to fetch out a basic land. For Thundering Falls, the Izzet Surveil land. 4 River Pyre Verge, the mountain that becomes a duel when we have a mountain or island in play. 4 mountains, and 4 islands. Playing the deck is very straightforward with minimal decision points. The key is to build up our board in the early game with early artifacts and drop in a synthesizer or a Repurposing Bay on turn 3. With a synthesizer in play, we aim to build up an army of Robot Overlords. A Frostcliff Siege can give our AI a power boost, as well as haste and trample, which can be devastating if our Robot Overlords are big. Most of our permanents are artifacts, which will help boost the stats of our robotic men. Use the chainsaw to snipe opposing men, and be prepared to make sacrifices to fetch out more artifacts with an active Repurposing Bay. The Robot Overlord armies are meant to march in, and with trample and haste, it's easier than ever to send it. Special delivery to the opponent's face. That's the deck, boys. Let's go play some games.
Do you want to play a game?
This is Lumo Snot. He's full of rage and fire. And Snot, we kick things off with a 3-lander that's short on ammo. We do have a treasure map which can scry us into better draws. Keep your pants on. Before their dragon even lands, we've drawn into a synthesizer. All we need is a 4th land to be able to fire off a 3 steps ahead. Our surveil land shows us just what we need. We'll play out the treasure map. Even though we might not end up using it, it will boost our Robot Overlord stats just by being on board. The tiny boned wonder, he is so proud of how small his bone really is. You can stop telling me about it, bro, I'm good. We get another treasure map, but this turn belongs to our factory outlet. We're cranking out Robot Overlords at ridiculously low prices. On top we have a pair of lands. It would be fine to keep the Fomori Vault, since it can help us turn more land draws into something else if we run out of plays. They swing in for their 1 damage. I'm not sure if we can keep taking it. It's brutal. They don't have any further plays, so we'll fire off our instant synthesizer. They respond with an outrageous robbery. Our win con is on board already though, and even if they get a synthesizer, it's unlikely they have the artifact payload to make sizable Robot Overlords. On top we have a land and a helm. That helm is absolutely perfect. We'll keep the helm but ship the land. We'll be able to generate token synthesizers until we make them give up. With 5 mana, the helm play is perfect. We can play it out and have mana to make an instant synthesizer whenever we want. And since they are tapped out, let's do it right away. This isn't even fair. They'd better have a board wipe every turn and at instant speed as well. On top we have an Enigma Jewel and a Repurposing Bay. It's too late for the Jewel, but the Bay is more triggers. The tiny boned wonder swings in. We've got more than we need for lethality. Let's block up and send him and his tiny bone to heaven. There's no need to play anything out. Let's send in our squad and get in some monster hits. That indeed is an instant board wipe. Too bad we have a 3 steps ahead at the ready. Damages, bro, damages. Also GG's. This is Sniper Gang. He's a 1-man army. He is for sure. We get a 3-lander with an excellent setup once we hit 3 mana. We'll be able to synthesize and make copies. Let's go. Keep your pants on. Our surveil land shows us a jewel. Unfortunately, the only thing it can help us activate is the helm. A 4th land would be more useful given the cards we have in hand. The opponent plays out a channeler. They forgot their life gain, guys. A Lily, I don't think I've seen her being played in the Bats deck. But sure bro, her wide rear end is definitely landing on board. We'll give up one of our 3 copies of 3 steps ahead. We don't need to be 9 steps ahead. 3 is just fine. We draw a 4th land, which is fantastic. Instant synthesizer is on the menu. Lily will be eating a Robot Overlord knuckle sandwich in the near future. On top we have a land and a jewel. We'll send both on down as we really need more 3 mana artifacts over a jewel and land. They play out another channeler, but have no way of gaining life. It's all a little bit backwards. We take another hit. but they pass on activating Lily. Their hand must be insanely good. We draw another siege, but our play is an instant synthesizer. Your go, my bro. They fire off a moment of defiance. It's more damages, but we're not changing our plan. We'll eat these hits, eat them like a pie. They drew something they're happy throwing away. We'll toss one siege since we don't need two of them. Instant synthesizer coming up. On top we have a pair of lands. Getting to 5 mana ensures we can play out the Helm and activate it, so we'll keep the Vault, but send the mountain on down. We'll play out the Helm. It generates a map token with every Robot Overlord, making sure they get nice and big. Beefy is what we like to say around here. Let's send in our AI and pay Lily a visit. They block up, which is fine. Our Robot Overlord eats a bat burrito. It doesn't even spit out the bones. They use Lily to snipe one of our Robot Overlords. Imagine their disappointment when we make another synthesizer at the end of their turn. They play out a non-blocking bat. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking that was not a good choice. What they should have done is play out a team of blocking men. A removal, sure bro. That's fine, we've got an endless supply of Robot Overlords. Let's make a small squad of synthesizers. They have one blocker, but let's make sure we can get through for heaps of pain. Say hello to my little friend. We even have enough to make another synthesizer, but that's not needed here. Let's get in there. Damages, bro, damages. They eat them like a pie. Also, GG's extra cheese. This is Joke Dragon. We know who the joke is on, don't we, boys? We get a 3-lander with a synthesizer and a spider to trigger it. The Vault is a bonus since we can use it if we don't draw into more ammo. Keep. We draw into a Fabled Passage, and we probably should play it out first. One thing I've disliked about them is that they reshuffle the deck, which redistributes cards we've scryed to the bottom. We'll play out the Vault. With a synthesizer and other available plays, we might not be using it much, but it's better to have it on board and at least boost future Robot Overlords. Their first play is a Warlock. We'll have to toss a card, which will be the Helm. Against a discard deck, we won't need too much duplication. We draw a 3 steps ahead, which will give us a powerful board once we fire it off to make a synthesizer copy. For now, we'll play out our first factory and get the assembly lines fired up. Production will run 24/7 until the opponent's head has exploded. On top, we have a land and a treasure map. We'll pass on the land, but keep the map in case we need to use it to help find more ammo. They play out a second Warlock, and since the first one hit us, they'll be able to snipe a card of their choice out of our hand. For some reason they take the Spider. That was not the pick to make. Their warlock team comes smashing in. It's only 4 and we're fixing to turn these tables pretty soon. They hit us with a ruthless negotiation. We'll let the map go. They follow up with a Lily. We could counter her, but we'd rather get the token synthesizer in play. They can make us toss our hand, but they can't do anything about our top decks. And the token synthesizer we're about to make might be able to give us more ammo to hit them with.
Drop it.
On top we have a Jewel and a Spider. We'll pass on the Jewel, but the Spider is the kind of ammo we were looking for. Let's play out the Spider and get another pair of Robot Overlords in play. We'll send the one robot to smash Lily. Her and her soiled underpants have got to go. Smell you later, Lily. The opponent doesn't have enough removals for our Robot Overlords. GG's. This is Fat Marshmallow. No wait, it's a Matte Mallow. Why does it smell like feet? We get a 3-lander with double treasure map, a Jewel and a chainsaw. The fabled passages make our first couple of turns awkward, but overall there's nothing wrong with this hand. Keep your hopes up. We'll play out the island then the Jewel. In case we draw an untapped land on our next turn, then we can play out a treasure map and be able to activate it. And there it is. Excellent work, Shuffler. Sometimes you do us good. We'll put a stop for our upkeep so we can use the treasure map before we draw. We have a 3 steps ahead on top, but we don't have anything to copy, so we'll send it on down. We'll just take our draw normally. I do want to get the second treasure map down this turn, and being able to activate both with the Jewel sounds fantastic. We draw a mountain, which is fine. Just in case we want to go for treasure map activations on our upkeep, we'll put a stop. They are afraid of the Mirex and take it out with their demolition field. There's bigger things to be afraid of, but sure bro. Our scry shows us a siege on top, and we do want one of those at some point. Let's keep it on top and play it out on our turn. Now all we really need is some synthesizer action, and we'll be golden. They must have a removal. They keep checking out our stuff. They play out a heaped harvest, and a ramping they will go. Let's fetch out a land before we do any scrying. Our first scry shows us a Repurposing Bay. It can easily find us a synthesizer, and we can chain artifacts from 0 mana tokens on up to the big Robot Overlord factories. Let's play out the bay, then follow up with the chainsaw. We'll sacrifice the chainsaw and get ourselves a factory. On top we have another bay and a chainsaw. We'll want to skip on the bay since we have one already, but the chainsaw can turn into another factory. They did have a removal. Luckily they can't hit the bay as well. We've got more than one synthesizer, bro. We've got a vault on top which could be useful. We can use it to ditch extra lands and try for more ammo. Let's draw with our land. More draws equals more potential action. And we draw into a synthesizer. We have enough to play it out and drop in the chainsaw as well and turn the equipment into another factory. We'll get our first robot overlord of the game and potentially get the ball rolling on an AI army. Hasty threats are always so dangerous. Let's hurt them. Damages, bro, damages. They hit one of our synthesizers with a tear asunder, but our robot overlord remains on board. Better take it out. Things get ugly quick. Instead, they opt to tutor up a card. The treasure map might not be enough now. Let's send it on down and try for something more dangerous. We get a vault, so we'll play it out. The bay can turn that into our fourth synthesizer, and we have enough power on board to take them out. Say goodnight, sleep tight, don't let the shark man bite. Also GG's. This is Smile Borg, the happiest cyborg this side of the galaxy. To the dome and beyond. We get the dreaded shuffler special for this one. It does come with a treasure map, which we can use to scry us into more lands. We've also got a synthesizer as well as a way to copy it if we can get to 4 mana. Keep. A code breaker, is this goblin red? Our play has to be the chainsaw. The best thing to do is to slow down the incoming damages. We whiff on drawing a third land, which is bad especially against Rakdo's mono red. We'll go with one of our treasure maps, and hopefully we can dig our way into being competitive. They send in their spear guy, and you know they've got more pain to tack on. Hit me, bro. Stop crying and hit me. That wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. We're probably still going to lose, but that's okay. That's a third land on top. Thank you, treasure map. The The question is, do we go with the jewel or the treasure map? It's a tough choice, but let's go with the jewel. Extra mana for activations is pretty good. They play out a cyber tramp. No, wait, it's a scamp. Then follow it up with a spear guy send. Only one bro, have you lost your courage? We draw a 4th land, and we'll be able to fire off our instant copy once we trade in this fabled passage for another land. This turn belongs to our factory. On top we have a land and another treasure map. We'll send the map on down, but let's keep the island on top. We're fetching it out with the passage anyways. They land a show-off, and their mono-red team is complete. All that's left to see is how much pump they're going to fire off. And that is a big 0. There is no pump, there is no hope, and there is cash in savings. Our treasure map shows us a land on top, which we don't want. We'll pass. That auto-tapper was going to get us. Let's use the mana from the jewel. We want the 4 mana to make a synthesizer copy. On top we have another 3 steps ahead. If we keep it, we'll be 9 steps ahead, but it feels like we're very far behind. We draw a mountain, and that gives us 8 mana, enough to power out 2 instant synthesizers. We could play out the siege and get 1 instant synthesizer down, but I think I like the idea of going copy as a surprise when they send their men. They fire off a cell sword and they want to throw their spear guy at us. You know, I don't like the idea of taking damage this way, and we do have a chainsaw in play that we can copy and take out their spear guy. It could backfire if they have an instant, but it's worth a shot. Well, trigger my fingers, it worked. Sucks when you lose your men for no damage. Am I right, bro? They go for the same move again. This time they want to toss their super tramp at us. We can do the same again, but we'll hit their show off. They've helped us clear their board, so this is just fine. That's a beefy cell sword. Good thing I'm not interested in buying. I ain't got the money for what you want to sell me, bro. Do you do layaway? An all-cell sword hand was what they had. Sometimes you eat the pie, sometimes the pie eats you. We draw a helm, which is fantastic. Instant chainsaws when we need them, or get more Robot Overlords. I would love to play out the siege, but let's hold up the mana to use the helm. They drew a spear guy, and they look like they're getting got by their own deck. They used up all their ammo, and now their pants are down. Should have kept them on, bro. We won't copy the chainsaw. They are about to be run over by an elite special forces unit of Robot Overlords. Poor bro is downloading in his shorts. He'll be right back after making a squishy. It's likely they skipped town, which is fine because we were going to say get out of town, Charlie Brown. They clearly didn't want to see the pain they were in for after failing to take us down. Then on our turn we'll plant the siege and get another AI. 39 damages to their precious sounds good, and even better, they can only block 3 of it. Rakdo's mono red is about to buy the farm. They don't have the cash, so they'll buy with credit. Smell you later. Also GG's. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.